So Tatiana, you told me earlier there are more than 80 hours of footage gathered for this documentary. Please tell me a little bit of the editing process and the different versions of the film.
Yes, that was crazy. When we got to New York, we were like, okay, we have now, because it was almost 100 hours, because it was 45 actually, at the end, 45 interviews, and you have extras, and you have, like people recording, making of and stuff, so we had a lot of footage. And the tough part is, in terms of directing and editing, is that usually when you do a documentary about one person, usually people do documentaries about one person, and it's already so tough because one person could have such an incredible life, ups and downs, and failures and successes. And when you do a documentary about 13 characters, it's very it's crazy to orchestrate all that, because it's very easy, because you have one story to be told, which is the Dzi Croquettes, the group, which becomes a 14th character, the group as itself. And then you have the 13 members. It's so easy that you get lost in one of those little parallel stories, and you go that way, and then you never go back again to, of telling the chronology or telling the story of the group, how it started, happened and ended. So we had to be very careful. At the same time, we had to present those 13 characters. So the first thing was dividing folders, everything that was said by those 45 people about each one. So we were separating, like, Marília Pêra tells about Gaia, and then Cláudia Raia tells about Gaia, and I don't know. We were organizing that into folders. Lennie Dale, Wagner Ribeiro, etc. So we had 13 folders, and then we had the folder with the chronology. So we had also to present those characters, and it would be very annoying if we presented one after the other. Like, and that was Lennie Dale, and that was Wagner Ribeiro, and that was Paulette, and that was... So we had to present one and the other, and then go back to the story, and then bring another one. When someone tells about something about that person, then we tell a little bit of their story, and then go back to, the main story. And then again, when they mention Lotinha, then we can, say who Carlos Machado Lotinha was, and go back in. So that was very, very difficult to make as well.
And also you decided to show a little bit of the context of the time. Because
yes,
at the beginning
exactly.
of the film, you show, you made people learn a little bit about dictatorship in Brazil, giving examples of how tough it was at the time.
And we had to do that. I mean, the first thing was like situate the viewer of the period in time that Brazil was going on. Also to understand how important the Dzi Croquettes was. Because if you put, it depends a lot on the moment in time that the country is living. And they were so amazing at doing all of what they have done in such a tough and hard and violent period of our history. So that was very important to situate who is viewing the documentary, to learn of how the time was. And that was tough too, because we had so much material about the dictatorship, so much stories, that we had to cut, because otherwise it would become 25 minutes about the dictatorship, and people would not understand. They would like, I came here to see another film, and now I'm watching 25 minutes about dictatorship. So we had to, put that in terms of, making the viewer understand how tough that was, really understand, giving a few examples of how tough that was, but at the same time not making the viewer tired of another story. So we had so many stories, and it was very tough to decide which one to leave, which one to take out. Now we're going to put everything on the DVD. The DVD is going to have extras, and it's going to be divided into chapters that we had to cut off. So then in the chapter dictatorship, then we can hear a lot of stories like Ney Mato Grosso being persecuted, and like with guns, and Marília Pêra in the theater, and Norma Bengel going to prison for so many times. So we have so much interesting stories that we were like, we have to leave it. But at the end we had to cut, but they're going to be all in the DVD. So that was tough. Lots of decisions of how to tell the story.